The shifting is a bit slower.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think we're testing the limits really. So
There's a bit of an echo, huh?
My sound is clear and everything is like perfect, really. My sound is clear and everything is like perfect, really.
Is het nou zo vertraagd?
Is that a live stream? It's a live stream?
Yeah, I opened the live stream to YouTube as well. Crazy stuff. Okay, guys, we're 20 now. I guess it's time to kick it off. Maybe people will be late, but we have a schedule as well, and I'm really eager to start. For me, it's a first to have like a really what we try to do because of the feedback on the last meetup was so well because of the interactive element. So I really wanted to keep it. It's a bit of a stretch. So we try it out. We have a really nice program and it will be interactive. I hope the technology won't fail us, but so far so good. We just take it away, and the very least what we'll learn, we'll learn something about strategy sprints, but also on like big collaborated workshops like this. I mean, if you can pull this off, it's something to, you know, so, you know, we're 5 past the mark. So let's just, you know, kick it off. And I want to give the floor to Erik, because really all that we want, that we're learning here is from Erik's experience with strategy sprints. I never did like a strict strategy sprint, so it's such as Erik, and he's kind enough to share it. The structure for today will be some background info, a little presentation by Erik, and then we will have 2 exercises out of his strategy sprint to try for ourselves. And we have like 10 minutes presentation, and every exercise will be around 30 minutes. There will be a break in between the 2 exercises. So yeah, I'd say take it away, Erik.
Thank you. So have a good evening, guys. Nice to have you here. Well, it's a first for probably many of us. Some might have tried over the few past days to collaborate. And as most of you know who have done sprints or some things or some collaboration elements, remote is always a challenge. I hope that everybody can hear me well. I will now try to share my, okay, that's good. I will now try to share my screen. Yes, even from home, there is some PowerPoint involved, but it's just to convey some of the basic ideas. And as soon as we can, we will switch to Mural, and then Aart will take it away and guide us through some of the exercises. So let me try to share my screen right now. And it should be, can everybody see presentation? Okay. Somehow, can I, yeah, Zoom. Somehow I can't share my screen. It's always nice, this one.
I made you the host. I'm
okay.
sure you can now.
Share screen. Yes, you can now see my... Can you guys now see my the presentation, the strategy sprint element?
Yeah.
Okay.
There it is.
Sure, I have in my repertoire, but let's start good. So yeah, some of you I know personally, some of you we have met on earlier meetups. Let me just kick off with, well, a few seconds about myself. I have a where is it? So when I started in my corporate roles in 2007, I entered Cisco, and I would challenge you to find the red teamer in the whole ensemble here. It was my first week, and nobody told me about a dress code, so yeah, I ended up straight in the middle of the picture. And yeah, I guess that also sums up how I normally roll. So I have done a few corporate stints. To the pirate role and try to look for different opportunities and ways of doing things. So my first encounter with design sprints was actually in 2017 when the AJ and Smart, some of you might know them, they actually held their first public session, and it was in Amsterdam in WeWork, and it was kind of an lightning decision jam. I won't go too deep into design sprints per se, but what stayed with me was the fact that with a team of 80 people, we could work together silently and come up with all kinds of ideas. I guess it was for some delivery app for pizzas for students or something, very intelligent and well, world saving, of course. But what stuck with me was the fact that we could collaborate so constructively together. And if you know already. My first strategy sprint was actually a few weeks later, because I'm not necessarily in product management, product development. I'm more of a marketing strategy guy. And a client of mine asked me to facilitate a session that was around it was a product basically for people with a burnout. And it was a 18-month trajectory of several meetings, and it was multidisciplinary. So there were psychologists, sport people, nutritionists, all kinds of meditation people, and we needed to come up with a strategy to how to cater to our audience, and also incorporate all the elements from all these disciplines. And we ended up only with the first 2-day program, but basically already for the full 80 months within a 3-hour session, which was very interesting to do. And somebody asked me, can you facilitate this session? I said, well, yeah, let me do that. And it was quite nice. So people were still talking a little bit too much, but it was a good start. And in the last year, I did around 12 to 13 sessions for several clients. And one of the most exciting actually was for my own corporate team within LexisNexis. I was a global marketing manager within the intellectual property division. And my team was stretched out over from Tokyo to Philadelphia. And last January we had, or let's say January 19, we had a session in Dubai, and once a year we came together and we had a challenge of how can we together and still cater to our local realities. And one of the things we did here was to, many of you might know what buyer persona are. And buyer persona is basically a model of your ideal audiences. And then you try to figure out ways to cater to those persona, and in the hope that you would cater to the full audience. And what we basically came up with is, okay, we might have local personas, but there might be global tribes, so tribes of persona. So a patent lawyer in Mumbai would have some kind of the same issues as a lawyer in the US, and a researcher in Japan might have the same challenges as one in Russia. And we actually ended up naming those, and it was really nice to do. And the funny thing was here that my team member from Japan, which are a little bit quieter than in the West, I would say, and she was so relieved that the thing was in silence. The American team was a bit like, oh, why can't we talk? But they too managed to stay silent. And the nice thing was there that there were 3 different hierarchical levels. So on the left, you see both my manager and my manager's manager. And we had like 15 people in total, at least 15 opinions, 7 cultures. And we managed to come up with a strategy that holds up to this day. And so we can work with our local realities, but translate our materials and stuff to global tribes. So this is a marketing example of strategy sprints. So to come back to what kind of things that are very interesting to handle within the process is, like, as I said, multiple hierarchies, multiple cultures, team. You have technical people, legal people, and so on, and they can work together and merge their creativity or ideas. Temperaments as well. I'm a little bit more extrovert, but yeah, there's also a lot of interesting things that in the minds of introverts. So how can you leverage those two? And of course, opinions, but it's most about combining perspectives into a kind of merged perspective. One of the things that, before I go into what strategy sprints could be, is was actually my observation that, as many of you might know, is that to hold design sprints, which is basically done on some operational level, of course, with some decision makers there. There is also the decision makers need to be involved as well and engaged. And by finding a way to build design thinking in design in a sprint for higher ups, so to say, or higher up the food chain, we can achieve a few things. First of all, pre-sprint, people get a better understanding of what a sprint would be and what design sprinting would be. By knowing what it is, they would agree to more sprints, and as we know, they might be costly, both in financial, but also in time and productivity loss terms. And yeah, they might develop a pro-sprint attitude that will be beneficial to sprints in general. At sprint, they will probably be more present and play less with their phones and so on, and with all kinds of, well, maybe even imaginary agenda appointments. They will be more engaged because they know, hey, this is what we've done a few weeks ago with our management team. I like this. I would love to participate. And being more, the outcomes of the process will be more realistic, which would result after post sprint. It would mean that better decisions are taken in general. People are more harmonious because they were there and they decided together. So there is less of this harmony needed. Everybody was there and it was everybody's decision. And the implementations, of course, will be more forthcoming because, yeah, they were there. So it's their baby as well. So that's where I think if you need to position strategy sprints relative to a design sprint, as many of you might know, I would say that it's a little bit in front, and with the results from the strategy sprint, I think a or a lot of design sprints can be better held. And to go deeper into what strategy is, just briefly, the vision and mission of your organization is where to go and why. The strategy is more about how to get there. So which roads can we take, which scenarios should we play, and so on. And the tactics are more about the execution, streamlined execution. So what to do while on the road. And let's dive into what that kind of means. And before that, I want to prime you with three mental frames, so to say. And I think they are crucial. Well, they're crucial in your own life, they're crucial in business life, and they're especially crucial for what we're going to do right now. And the first one is the VUCA, and we're living in a VUCA world, and you might have or as military, and the first one stands for volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. And volatility basically is all about the fact that change is the only constant in this world. And well, we all have seen how that can play out over the past few months. Uncertainty is more about that we can't predict how things are changing. So the volatility is that things are changing, but not when. And uncertainty is that we haven't seen it before, so we can't predict. Complexity is all about the fact that a lot of things are influencing each other, and you don't know how things go. So we all might have heard of the butterfly effect. A butterfly effect is actually something that is so complex. A butterfly flaps its wings in Brazil, and in the US there is a big tornado as some. And ambiguity is all about, okay, so we have something, what does it mean? I think we can all relate somehow to these four words. The solution basically, and it's not one-on-one, so the V or the V, but it's to have a vision, to have an idea of, okay, where do we need to go? What might we encounter and how to counter it? Understanding is about understanding processes, understanding each other's perspectives, and so on. Clarity is about simplicity and focus. And agility or adaptability is all about, okay, things come your way. You might not have influenced them, but you always can somehow navigate and adapt to it. And yeah, that calls in the survival of the fittest that we all know of. So that was the first idea to keep in mind, the mental framework. The second one is the cone of plausibility. And it's like a little bit of straight trumpet. What it boils down to is that we are in the small blue roundel now. We come from all kinds of things from the past, and we need to look towards the future. And this is, of course, a model, but it kind of gives you a framework to imagine what some things could look like. So let's start from the outside in. So the preposterous, as the name says, suggests things that will probably not happen. They're kind of impossible, but yeah, still, we all know that black swan events can occur. Probably like Corona. So sorry, I said it. The possible ones might be things, okay, they might technically be possible, but not necessarily feasible or happening, but they are possible. Plausible is a slight difference from that, and it means that really occur. It's plausible, what the word says. Probable is the things that, with what we know now, is probably going to happen. And preferable is things that we would love to see happening. That makes sense. And now they're really nicely aligned. But of course, this cone is a huge one with all kinds of different scenarios, even wild cards, as we will encounter later on. And I would say that this is a mental frame to look towards the future and see, okay, we might not necessarily predict everything, but at least we can have some idea of what might be happening. And one of the biggest failures, I guess, of us as humans in general is that we think of the future as a linear progression from the current situation, and that, as we know by now, has never come to pass in that way. So that's the second framework. And the last mental framework that I want to hold against is the STEPPEL-Analysis. People might know it as the PESTEL. There are several versions of it, but what it boils down to, that it is a kind of a framework of different factors that you might factor in when looking at trends or at the future. And the first one is social culture. So think about everything that is embedded in our society, our culture. How is our communication going? The second one is technological. So what is our technical maturity level? How far is our science? How digitally connected are we? Can we really do things? The economy, of course, yeah, speaks for itself. What kind of economy are we living in? How is it going? How is the wealth distribution? Are we globalized? Are we localized? And so on. Political is how done. What kind of do we have? What's the rate of the democracy, rights in general, corruption? How are institutions working? How is the administration organized? Psychological is what's our mood in generally like. I guess our mood is a little bit down, but also positive, as you have seen over the past few days. What are the attitudes? How is emotionality and rationality imbalanced? And for instance, populism is a trend that would definitely go into psychological instead of political. Our environmental is, of course, the climate, pollution. What's the state of the planet, and how are we taking care of it or not, and what are the prognosis for that? And the seventh one is legal. So what's the legal framework that we operate in? Is there a rule of law? Is there justice for people? Or regulations working, rule regulations working or not working for you or against you? So having these three mental frameworks, so we had the VUCA to accept the world that it is volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. We looked at the cone of plausibility as a way of looking forward, and then we have the STEPPEL-Analysis to basically fill in this cone of plausibility. And what I would like to do now is go to Aart, and for our first exercise, and yeah, but I will give it back. And then one thing that we will do before I say is that we have we will have a choice to make as meetup members right now. So let me get the okay, how do I get this back? So Aart,
yeah,
feel free to fire up the mural. I hope everybody thus far could follow what I was saying.
thanks for the intro. That's really good. It will be wild. I never sat in a mural with so many people. So in order to make things smooth, I want to know your level of proficiency. Did you work with Mural before? Maybe put it in the chat on Zoom here, raise your hand, or give a wave. Okay. Okay, I think it's about, well, Mural is really similar, but there are some differences. But so that's quite a lot of no's. I think it's a little bit more. I think it's a little under 50-50. So I'll take it a little bit slow then, so you can slowly get used to it. I just posted the Mural link in the chat here. Is everybody on board? It's an anonymous link, so I only see anonymous fish and cat and sea turtle and everything. But I guess we're all set, more or less. Yeah, I think we're good. So if there's anything going wrong or you're lost during the session, shout out on the chat in Zoom. That's the place where we can help you and reconnect, all right? Otherwise, I'll keep the pace rather low. However, we're like really a big group, so no guarantees, but I'll try to, to accommodate for everybody. First, let's go to the mural. And what I want you to do, I want you all to follow me. I will share my screen as well. And while I'm doing that, I have to grant some preferences. I want you to, there's a world map. Everybody, I will summon everybody to go to my viewport. And there's a world map. And the world map is, I want you to point to your country so we can see where everybody is from.
Can you also share your screen? So for the live stream?
Yeah, I'm busy doing that, but this will be funky. I don't know if I'll lose connection because of it, because okay. I will share the screen. Yeah. Are you now seeing my screen? Are you still there?
Yep.
And do you see my screen or not?
Yes.
So you do. Okay, that's nice, because I miss you, but that's fine. Very. And you see now my mural screen, right?
Aart, what can we see on your screen?
It's
Aart.
a world map.
Yes. Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
cool.
I see.
So if you are, even if you're not in the mural, you can see what we're doing, because you will see what I do. So that's great. But otherwise, I want you to log into the mural as well. And we use Zoom for communication, for talking, maybe some hints, and we will use the mural to cooperate. So if you are in a one monitor setup, just open your browser with Mural. If you have two monitors, put Mural and Zoom next to each other. All right?
There's a lot of animals on board.
27, so it seems about right. Okay, I want you now, everybody, to point, just like me, where are you coming from? I don't see your cursors moving. Is this clear to everybody? So maybe it's a little bit too much for Mural, but there's not an awful lot happening. Interesting.
Anyway.
Okay, because, well, it was a step up to the next one. I want you to pick a team. Do you want to be on the red team or on the blue team? Pick a side.
Okay. We'll get there.
Guys, I will, for me, Mural is not working. I will restart a bit and see maybe if it comes back, because I kind of lost my facilitator things. Probably you're a bit too many. We'll see how it goes, all right?
Yes.
yeah, it was frozen because only now I see the, yeah, see cursors moving. I see post-its. Somebody says from here, but it's in Russia. That's great. Cool.
Okay.
That's all right. Okay. Yeah. So great. You are picking a team. So sorry, I didn't see your cursors moving, but we're back on track. Cool. I want you to kind of 50-50 decide, are you on the red team or on the blue team? Okay, who's... If you break something, I try to lock as much as I can. If you break something, you can use Control-Z to undo it and it will be in the old position. Just like now. Yeah, there we go. All right. I guess we're about 50-50. This brings me to the next point, because we're going now really into the workshop, and it's good if everybody kind of prepares. And what I like you to do is have a pen, some paper, and of course have a drink or a snack if you want. Now, everybody for themselves. Write on your paper, are you in the blue or in the red team? So there's no mistake. And if you did, let me know in the chat on Zoom. Ah, perfect. All right, cool. So everybody pick a side and stick with it for the rest of this workshop. Yeah, cool.
It's pretty even though.
It's pretty even. I'm happy with that. So that's good. Very well. Okay. I will explain the first exercise, and it will. I will do that slowly, and I will do it on the blue side. However, as you can see, the screen is made up in two big squares. One is blue and one is red. If you chose for the red team, all your work will be on the red side, even though I will do the explanation here at the blue side. If you chose the blue team, everything you do will be on the blue side. All right? Then we will go to our first exercise, and I will summon you so you will all see what I see. It's a first exercise, and this is the STEPPEL-Analysis, like Eric explained. We have the cone of uncertainty, which I placed here. Maybe that rings a bell if you paid attention. We will predict possible futures, like what can all be, the cone is white at the end, what can all be possible scenarios looking at the future. And if we say the future, we say it's the 1st of January 2021. I made an error here. It's not a full STEPPEL analysis. We'll do it lightweight because of the size of the group, and also maybe it gets a bit too heavy otherwise. But we do brainstorm on possible futures. So that's kind of the mindset. What we will do is we'll brainstorm in 3 steps. We start with thinking up many possible future scenarios. That's the first exercise. Then we go to the second exercise. We map and group all the future trends. And then from all the future trends, we will select the best ones by voting. That are the 3 steps we will take, and I will guide you through each of those steps. now if you look to me at the blue side, so this is the blue side, and there are some examples here. It's an ideation space, and you can think up very different scenarios for the future. And Eric already revealed it. We are in companies, and not just any company, but the blue side will be Albert Heijn, and the red side will be Lidl. Now, these are two Dutch supermarkets. If you don't know, I think we have people from abroad, as at Brazil, Russia, so maybe it's good to explain, because of course you have no clue what Albert Heijn or Lidl are. Both are retail outlets, supermarkets. Lidl is it's a German company, and they're like they have a very small assortment. They're all about price. They're on lowest price, low service. The shops are well, very basic, and the Albert Heijn is the complete opposite. It's like the biggest supermarket in the Netherlands. They have the biggest assortment. They have highest prices, and all shops are like high on service and look very well. So it's like complete opposites. Interestingly, they both do really, really well in the market now. So what this workshop will be about, imagine you are either on, let's say, the price fighting supermarket Lidl, or you are on the team of Albert Heijn, and you try to establish a working strategy for your company. Now, then we go to the first exercise, the ideation space here. I will give you 5 minutes, and what you'll do in those 5 minutes, you think up different possible trends, developments, ideas for more or less 1 year from now. Because the group is so large, I want you to post only the 3 best ideas you have. And maybe it's good you can write them in a corner of the area, or you can maybe write them on paper and then pick the 3 best ones. But I want to self-censor a little bit, otherwise it gets too much to filter down. Is this clear to everybody?
Aart,
Jeroen, you can change
so
slides.
can you explain to everybody how? Could you explain how to add these yellow post-its to the canvas?
Definitely. Because these are areas made for sticky notes. You can just double click. If you just double click like what I do now, you get a post-it. And then it already gives you a cursor. I want you all to make these yellow post-its. Another thing you can do, if you look at me, you can either select one and duplicate it by Control D, Command D. Or you can, I think if you put Option and you, that doesn't work. You can drag it, but keep it on duplicating. There you go. People are already starting. If you want to change sides, do it now. It's the final. It's the final call for changing sides. Oh, Jeroen was a former employer of. Jeroen was a former employee of Albert Heijn, so he will stay on the blue team. Well,
Strategy officer.
No.
May I add something to the conversation here? Is that the trends that we see can be in all of these 7 areas of the STEPPEL. So let's say if you see a regime change, let's say for the sake of this case in the Netherlands, then it would be but it would be nice if we have a spread in the several factors.
Okay, that's a good addition. Is this clear to everybody? Otherwise, send me a message on Zoom. I will start a timer. And then what I want you to do, think of different possible future developments. Select for yourself, select the best 3 and put them on sticky notes in this area, either at this side, or if you're at the red team, it will be in this same area on your side. I'll start the timer now and give you 2 minutes to cook something up. Is everybody, did you put your best ideas there in the ideation?
Almost.
It's all right, very good. It's time to round it up so we can continue with the next bit. I'll give you maybe like 10 seconds to pump it out. Yeah, it looks good. Blue is definitely getting full. Yeah.
I also see that blue sees themselves as the most plausible future.
Well, we'll see. We'll see. All right.
How do you see that? How do you see that? I'm just looking at little.
That's good, and that's what you should. Yeah. Now,
Yes, I think so.
what we'll now do, we'll kind of sort it. There are a lot of ideas there. Well, in fact, I expected a little bit more, but if you have some, just crank it out. But it's time to move on to our next exercise, which is kind of sifting through the big pile of ideas. And as Eric mentioned, I'll ask you to summon me. If I do that, you'll all see what I see. So there you go. What I ask you, for instance, this is we have to sort and collect everything. Oh, things are. I want you to drag all the ideas you have here, and I want you to first to sort them on plausible. Are they plausible, or are they probable? And then kind of group them in at the correct height as well. Is it something like technological? Put them in a technological lane. It has something to do with economy or politics. Put them in their respective lanes, and so on. So we kind of group them, and we can, see what all comes together. And if you see duplicates, put them either on top or very close to each other, so we can see what we'll do with it. Is it clear what we have to do here? Maybe it's a bit abstract.
So plausible means that it is possible, very, very well possible. And probable is that it is probably really likely that's going to happen that way.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so if the red team, the blue team is already going for it, I'll check with the red team at the other side already mapping and grouping very well.
Eric, can you say once again what the difference is between plausible and probable?
Sure. So plausible is something that is very much possible. So it lies in the realm of reality, that it's plausible is that it can rain tomorrow and it can shine, but probable is that it will be as gray as it was today. I don't know whether that sounds sounds a bell, but yeah, it's a subtle difference. If you're not sure, you can always put it in plausible instead of probable. But if you, for instance, if you believe that the economy will be up again, for sure, then it's probable for you. That's basically.
Cool. Well, team red is nearly there, so give the last go. Team blue, there's one left. Yes. Anonymous shark, give it a go. You steal it from the panda. Well done. Well, this is great. There's some really wild ideas there. That's great. Cool. All right, I think we're both done. Then it's of course, we want to see where it all leads to. And there it's time for our voting round. Since we have a lot of new users on the mural, I will explain it. I will start a voting session and everybody will get, let me see, everybody will get 5 votes. And they work just the same as in the note and vote session in your design sprint. You can cast votes on any sticky you see. What I want you to do, if you're on the blue team, cast your votes on only on the yellow post-its in your newly made map. So not on the headers, not on economy, technological, social, cultural, but only on the trends. And everything goes. You can, of course, vote for your own idea. You can put multiple votes on one sticky. Everything that you can do in a normal design sprint, you can do here as well. The only thing is, if you're on the blue team, just focus on your solutions at the left. And if you're on the red team, focus on your solutions that you came up with and you mapped out here. I will start a voting session.
So how do we vote? Do we get the other stickies?
Sorry, come again?
So how do we exactly vote? Do we get like little other colored stickies or?
No, I'll open the voting session and you can click on, it will explain, you can click on every post-it that you can vote on. I now started the voting session. And if you just click on the yellow post-it, and if you click it, it will vote 1 time. If you click it 2 times, it gives 2 votes. If you want to remove a vote, it's shift click. Is this clear to you? Give it a go. If somebody needs help with what we're doing now, let me know. Reach out either on the chat on Zoom or just open the mic and I'll help you. Some people are reaching out to me on the Zoom chat. I like that. I try to help you there. If you're stuck, drop me a line.
Aart, if I run out of votes, then I'm done, right?
Yes, you have 5 votes and then you're done. And if you want to retract a vote, you can do that by shift clicking, I think. But otherwise, you're good. If if it says in the top bar, it will say you have 0 votes left,
Yes,
and that's fine.
Yeah. All right.
And I see a couple of people still voting. There are 2 pandas still voting, a sea turtle. That's great. There are a couple of people who are still in doubt. It doesn't.
Nobody said it would be easy.
Well, it's too much choice. It's a choice paradox, obviously, but I'd like to continue. So please wrap it up. I'll count down from 10, cast your votes, and then we'll close it. I will say 10, 9, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we're ending the voting session. There are still people voting, but I think not everybody is active. So I'm ending the session for everyone, and we'll see what's the outcome. Can you see the outcome?
Yes.
Now that's a bit difficult because of course it doesn't know the difference between blue or red. So if you go to your board, it's very clear which are the winners. What I will do now, I select the winning cards and the top 3 from everything. And I put them in the winner box so we know what the winner is. And so allow me like 10 seconds to do it. I'll just pick there are a lot of ones as well, so I just pick one, the first one. It's normally I wouldn't do it, but now
what I can tell while you're doing this, Art, if you're okay with it,
Yeah.
is that as you might recall, the cone had from preposterous to preferable. We didn't even put preferable here. And this also shows that it's there are so many things that can happen, that might happen, that are possible. So this in reality, when you do the full strategy sprint, it's really going to be a lot larger in terms of all the possibilities. And it's also to show that and I will come back to that, that it's very hard to predict, but you have to pick some sides. You have to pick some things to at least start with. That's what is a lot amongst the votes. So there is we're in 30, 40 people, and we already have a lot of different opinions. And yeah, I think that this is also one of the most interesting and revealing starts within a strategy sprint process.
Definitely. I have it sorted out, and so if you want to see what I see, we're at the blue side, and what I simply did is the most voted for ideas. I just put them here in the winning boxes. I put here like the star icon, like these are the most plausible futures and the most probable futures. I will now dismiss the vote highlights so we can see it. The most plausible future will be a local food sourcing gets a boost. There will be less plastics, and people will get skeptical about data use and personalization. Also, linked most probable will be home delivery will grow. There will be less meat consumption, and we will experience a severe global economic recession. Okay, well, this is nice for the blue team. Now, if you want to head over to the red team, there we have some possible future scenarios where it says financial crisis will be larger than the budget. So budget shopping more popular. Yeah, there we go. Economy has collapsed, GDP decreased, and a little market leader. There will be less plastic for covering the food. The raccoon, the raccoon does what raccoons do. He's breaking things. I'll lock it so you cannot do it accidentally. Probable are people shop more online, and there will be strong partnerships with food banks, and there's a reduction in food wastage. All very possible future scenarios. So thank you. This is the first exercise. We kind of looked into the future in a very fast way, but this is what we have now. Eric, I think you take it from here, right?
Yeah.
Just and right after there will be a break. So hold on for I think 2 more minutes, and then we'll have a break.
Yeah. So as I start telling, is that there are so many things that can you have kind of experienced right now. And one of the few things that happen are the so-called wild cards or black swan events, if you will. And I actually would like to throw one in, and nobody has said something about it, but it might happen. And that is that people in January 2021, there's so much upheaval, economy in shambles, political trust that is now a little bit higher is also down, and people demand that all mortgages under 500K and all loans under 100K will be pardoned and absolved. So if you guys have a mortgage under 500, this will be somehow as at least a short-lived party. And if you have some loans like student loans, it will all be absolved. So this is in the realm of possibility. but if we all get pretty much pissed off, it might be really possible, and it would change the whole thing. So I won't. It's only just for when you're having a pee break or something, is that you might think, okay, wow, I haven't thought of this, but how might that influence our position? What I would like to do now, and before I go to Aart to do the logistics of the break, I think I can not share my screen right now. Maybe you can let me do that, Aart.
Yeah.
And while you tell what the break is all about.
I made you host, so I think it's good, Eric.
Okay.
So you want to tell me what the break is all about?
Yes.
Well, I Googled, this is what I did. I Googled on toilet break, and I found this a really, well, perfect movie. So click on the link here. And well, enjoy some old-fashioned music videos while I have a break. Well, we'll have a break for 5 minutes, right? Five-minute break. Is it okay, guys?
Sure. So.
All right, guys. How are we holding out?
Can I ask you something?
Definitely.
I think it's a great environment. Is that how did you build this?
Well, I spent the afternoon building it.
It's great. My
Thanks.
compliments.
Thanks.
Very nice. That's what I wanted to say.
Thank you, Ruud. I'll All right, it's time to get back on track. Are we all there?
And more importantly, have we all washed our hands?
Well done, yeah.
Can everybody see my screen, by the way?
Yeah, washed your hands, yeah. Did you enjoy the music I put? I personally selected for the break.
I guess we'll see when we see how many people are coming back.
That's
That
right.
might
There's
be,
a huge drop off now with the shit.
voting with your feet.
I don't know. There's still 21 participants. So, well, it's.
Let's move on if that's okay.
It's okay.
I guess they can tag along, and also because of being cognizant of the time. Okay. Shall I fire away?
Yeah. Please take it away.
Okay, guys. Well, thanks for your attention on the first part. We're looking into the second part, and the second part is about the red team thinking. And as the title of the meetup was saying, sprint with red team thinking. Red team thinking. Well, I'll explain a little bit more detail what it is. But let me first start with a story which is very striking, literally, if I may. So there was a time that Iran beat the US of A, and it was one of the largest digital and analog exercises that the US military had in 2002. And it was meant to teach a unnamed Middle Eastern country a lesson. And they pulled this guy, Van Riper, a lieutenant, a pensionado general from the Marines, and they pulled him out of the mothballs to lead the red team, or the losers, as they would amongst themselves put it. And what basically happened is that the Americans, as America, look, yeah, they entered the Persian Gulf, and this brilliant guy, he basically did everything that was not in the script. So he fired all things immediately, and within actually 5 to 10 minutes, well, let's say like 19 US ships, including 2 aircraft carriers, were on the bottom of the Persian Ocean. So he basically did everything that the blue team didn't expect. And you can check it on online, or we'll tell you more about it if you want to. But it's the Millennium Challenge 02. It's really brilliant. And what they actually did later on, they kind of refired up the exercise, and all the things that he did were not allowed anymore. And yeah, it was really like more to put up a show. But yeah, this guy is really a hero in the going on with came from and what it's now. So we might all know the expression being the devil's advocate. It was an office from the Pope to basically question request for sanctification. So if you want to become a saint, or someone in your community, you wanted to let them become a saint, you had to apply for it. And this devil's advocate, as it was named, was dubbed, they would kind of challenge your application. That's where it actually comes from. The devil not wanting to have any more saints. During the Cold War, and that's where the name red teaming actually stems from, the Americans acquired some MiG Soviet jets and some pilots from the Soviet countries to fly them, and they built a very secret, a highly secret red also our own 16 pilots would have flown against this team. So when the Cold War would turn hot, they would have flown against the enemy already. And that's where the red teaming, red Soviets, well, you can do the math, got its name from. Then now it's mostly known these days as in the cybersecurity world with hacking systems. So white hat hackers, people who would hack your systems to find exploits and help you be safer and more secure. So that's how it is kind of known and what the history is in short. I'll let you read this one for a moment because, well, just dictating would not be good. Have a quick read. Okay, so this is all nice and done, but what does it boil down to? So there are three basic pillars of red team thinking that you need to keep in mind when you're doing it. The first one, and it's the most important, is challenging all assumptions. And a friend of mine, she actually gave this brilliant quote: "If you assume, you make an ass out of you and me." And I think that's true. And the reason why this general beat the Americans was because they were assuming that they were all powerful and superior. The second one is contrarian thinking, and there are a few versions of this quote, but no business plan survives the first contact with the enemy. There is a Mike Tyson one that says everybody has a plan. That's of course his boxing talk. And the third one is the VUCA mindset. So reaching back to the earlier slides on the VUCA, the volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguous mindset. If you accept that, then you can start working with it. And I would say that this is my preferred quote: is you can't predict, but you can prepare for it. We have seen how it's very hard to look through the cone of plausibility, but you can at least already prepare for some things. Then there are some versions of red teaming that you can do, and it's looking also at lateral thinking and the 6 thinking heads. Some of you might have known that. It's a way of using different perspectives on a certain issue. And blue teaming is basically what everybody would kind of do what we usually do. It's specific slide. It's not about our 2 teams, but it's more about just looking at what would our standard operating procedures be. Red teaming is playing the opposing team, which can be either destroy the team or outrace. I think it's not always a zero-sum game. Sometimes it's just being first. Purple teaming is a very interesting one nowadays. It's about, okay, it's a combination of red and blue. So how can we work together as assumed enemies and tackle bigger, larger issues, like, for instance, climate change or Corona? I've said it again, sorry. And so that's a very interesting one. Light teaming is actually, and dark teaming go hand to hand together. And it's like the light team would basically be the holy team. Do the right thing, do everything according to the book. Play the saint. And the dark team would be like the evil team and do whatever it takes to get there. And if you would plot what the light team would do, and under that what the red team would do, you'd basically get a bandwidth in between which you can operate. So by doing these two things together, you will get a very, set a frame for what you can do. A green teaming, or Greta teaming as we call it, is play the Greta Thunberg, and look at everything from a planet first perspective. The orange teaming would be around safety first. So that could both be medical or cybersecurity or just physical safety. And it's everything can handle, but safety first. So those are also options that you can, and there are a few more that you can apply within these exercises to tackle and look at. So I would like to go to this exercise, and we call it retail red teaming. And as you might know, we're still in this fight, this heroes fight between Albert Heijn, Team Appie, and Team Lidl. And I think that we can now bring it into a more practical exercise with using red teaming thing. So let's go over to Aart and the mural again.
All right. Okay. I will share the screen. But everybody in my mural, if you follow me, that's also a very good tip. If you follow me, you can click on my name and you will see what I'm seeing. Otherwise, I will ask you to join me. I did that now. We'll go to exercise 2. It will be similar exercises as we did in the first one, which is fine because you get a hang of it. You have to imagine it's May 1st, the lockdown has ended, but government payouts didn't happen. Economy is broken, so it's kind of a specific situation, not the easiest. And now we will brainstorm really like red team thinking how to destroy our main competitor. We, the blue team, we first start with thinking up very many possible ways to destroy red. So if you're on the blue team, well, how can we destroy Lidl? Then the second step is then we group and map them out. And then finally, we will do some voting round. But first, I want you to do very similar. We have an ideation space here. This is for the blue side. I will give you a couple of minutes to ideate how can we best destroy the other team. Now, if you're on the red team, of course, go to your own space in the red box. There's a similar box there, and you will ideate how can we best destroy blue, right? Is this clear to everybody? Okay, then I will start a timer. And I'll give you 2 minutes to put every idea you have on how to destroy the red team here in this box on sticky notes. The countdown is starting.
Can you release us?
I think you You can just go away from my... You can just walk away. Yeah, so the blue team is doing fine. I'll take a walk over to the red team. There's about 1 minute on the clock, so put everything you have to destroy the other ones. Take a quick look on the blue side. Yeah. Guys, the best ideas start pouring in, really. That's great. I still see quite some activity on the blue side, and it's all, well, there it gets wilder and wilder. Very, very good. Try to round it up. So the red team is out of ideas, which makes sense. Blue team, wrap it up, please. Cool. I don't know if everybody keeps it legal, but well,
That's dark teaming, right? So
there you go. Very well. Okay. I guess these are enough ideas to work with. There are definitely ideas that could destroy red or could destroy blue, if well executed, of course. In order to make kind of to order everything that's on there, I want you to go to look at the second box, the affinity mapping. It's more or less the same as we did here, but this is one will be more free format. I want you to organically, so with your whole team, you will pick up every post-it here. For instance, this one, lowest price, money back guarantee. You'll pick it up and you'll drag it to box 2. By the end of this exercise, box 1 will be empty, box 2 will be full, and you have all logical group names and all similar ideas are grouped and so on. So it will enable us to make a choice very easy later on. Is that clear for everybody? Okay, give it a go. For your own team, work together to regroup it and give the group some meaningful name. I'll put a countdown timer on 2 minutes. Cool, yeah. There are some evil geniuses here at the blue team.
Oh, don't count us out on the red side.
All right. Okay. We have 20 seconds left. I think you're both doing all right for now. Yeah, red looking good. We go to blue. Very well, very well. This looks more or less clear. If you take a look, it's organized. So that's good enough for now. I still see everybody, doing a final touch. That's fine, but I really want to continue with the real part of the red teaming, because I'll ask you into my viewport, and what I'll do is I'll lift the mystery box, because of course what we try to do if we're red teaming, it's about imagining how the opponent will destroy us. So we leave this for now. We leave box 1 and 2, and we'll continue with box 3. And I want you to do the very same thing. I want you to ideate and really think, how will the little destroy us? Because that, of course, allows you to take countermeasures and to harden your strategy. So this is, we've been all building it up for this moment. So give it your utmost. One check question before we start. Is it clear for everybody what we will do?
If I may add, Aart, so the idea of this whole exercise is to be and feel like you're you are the opponent. So you are really thinking, okay, if you're in Team Appie, now I have to be those bastards from the little. How would they attack me? And the same for the red side.
But can't we use the ideas that have already been generated?
Yes, but
or
yeah,
if you two separate tracks for the moment. You see what I mean?
If you really feel, but yeah, sorry, I would just if I may, I would just retype a little bit of the yellow ones that you really think are good,
okay.
that you could use.
Okay, all right.
But think like little, think like the opponent. How would they destroy you? What are your weak points? Oh, I see stuff is not really locked, I will lock it so you don't destroy it on purpose. I'll put 2 minutes on the clock and we'll work in box 3, in your own box 3. All right, time's up, and I see, well, very scary ideas on the blue side. Same on the red side. You did. Oh, you did fine. All right. Now we continue. We do a simple affinity mapping, just the same as we did on box 2. We'll do the same on box 4. What we'll do on your own color, on your own side of the canvas, we drag all the yellow cards that you have. We'll drag it from box 3 to box 4. And we'll group it. We'll give it some title. There you go. I'll put 2 minutes on the clock. All right, guys, time's up, and I mean it's just in time. You did an
Hey,
amazing
Aart.
job.
Aart, we have a new participant,
Who is that?
Maya's daughter. Nice girl. Okay.
You can never be too young to red team.
That's what I mean.
Because there's so many participants, you fell off. But welcome, that's great. Yeah, cool. All right, and now we're up for the final exercise, and we're stretching the limits here. But I'm sure you're up to it. What we will do is we will do one big voting session, and I want you on your own team. Now, if you want to take a look with me, say you're on the blue team. I will start a voting session, and everybody will get 6 votes. And I want you to pick, no, everybody will get 8 votes. Sorry for that. I want you to pick 4 votes on your box number 2, and I want I wanted to use 4 votes on box number 4. So you pick on your own half of the screen. You'll pick the 4 best ideas to destroy the other team, and you pick the 4 most scary ideas how they can destroy you. It's a bit stretching it, but same rules. You can vote on whatever you want as long as it's a yellow post-it. And you have multiple votes on one. You can vote on your own idea. Everything goes as long as it is 4 in this box 2 and 4 in box 4. Is that clear? I know I'm stretching it a bit, so I'm double checking. Is this clear? I guess it is. I will start a voting session now. Meanwhile, I'll make double sure you get it. So I'm about to start a voting session. So everybody vote on in their own color, in their own working space. Put 4 votes in box 2, put 4 votes in box 4, and only vote on the yellow post-its. Go for it. Again, if there are any questions, reach out to me on chat or just open your mic, all goes. I see quite some people have left open votes. I don't know if they left the session or if there's somebody still unsure what to do. You can always reach out to me on the Zoom chat or so I can help you. I want to give it another 10 seconds or so, and if I don't see anything moving in the voting counts, I will close the session and we'll see what give it all you have. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Final round. And I'm ending the session now. All right, there we go. We're rounding it up. Very well, very well. All right, and now things get interesting. First I'll select the best voted solutions. And we'll see how good you're in predicting the other side, right? I will move the highlight for the vote. Now, this was the session. We're all done, but I put the winning. I'll summon everybody to follow me. If you look on the question,
Aart, is
yeah,
red and blue together? Is this red and blue together?
No, this is what blue thought. How can we best destroy red?
Okay, cool.
And they said set all prices 20% below little. That was their best guess. So it's a price war, right?
Yeah.
And they and now before we look into box 4, we will go to box 4 of the red team. And this is how Lidl thought they could destroy Albert Heijn. And they said, Dutch is better. So that's something else. That's interesting, right? They would put it on, I think it's on Dutch branding. Is there somebody from the red team who can explain what this is about?
Does Dutch is better need any explanation? No, sorry, that's a joke, of course.
All right. Well, we'll look to the we go to box 2 of the red team. The little says, how can we best destroy Albert Heijn? And people from the red team little said the budget is the new cool. So they really put it on the budget, right? So that kind of overlaps with what Albert Heijn thought. And now let's see how Albert Heijn forecasted how Lidl would destroy them. And we can see it here. Albert Heijn was very worried that Lidl would work together with Amazon to destroy Albert Heijn, which is a very scary thought, but it's something different. This is funny, right? We look from the two sides and see how things, well, not exactly line up, but still, well, very useful. Is there anybody who has some something to say now? Because for me, these were the exercises, and I hope you enjoyed doing this.
I will wrap up if that's okay.
That's okay. Yeah.
So maybe I can share my screen again while we're going through that.
Yeah, I'll stop my screen share thing. Yeah, I'm stopping my share and I'll I think you can share now.
Okay, great. So one of the funny things is that as you've seen, even if we are quite a small group, and you saw it already by the first exercise, is that there can be a lot of different angles on things. That the assumptions that we kind of have that, well, everybody would do it like this is a wild one. And to wrap up things, we've talked about design sprints a little bit and how it differs, but also shares a lot of things with strategy sprints. We talked about strategy. We talked about VUCA. We talked about the cone of plausibility, and we talked about the STEPPEL-Analysis as a framework to order things. We did the exercise with the different futures, and we did the exercise we just finished. I want to say that you can't predict, but you can prepare. And I'm still, every time I'm coming back to that, as you've seen in the last exercise, we could really predict what the other would do, but we could still do these exercises and then prepare for the different actions that that an adversary might take. That's most about what a red teaming is about. I would just say a very few things that what I do. I call it the red sprint, which is as you see, a part of the strategy sprint. This is not a sales thing. It's just that I do these things in different sizes, and I'm now trying to train the first in-house red teams. And yeah, I hope that people will do these adversary and contrarian thinking much more before making decisions. It would help us all very much, I think. And to close it and to mention it for a third and last time, I would be very surprised if why nobody, or I was surprised why nobody mentioned another virus as a way to destroy the adversary. So even now that we're in the midst of it, we haven't thought about it. So it's something that consider. I would love to thank you all for being here. There could still be a lot of questions if you want to, but for now, big thanks, and hope to see you also in the next meetups from the Design Sprint Practitioners NL group. So let's do a question round, and thank you for being here.
Yeah, if I may drop in, we have some question boxes in the mural, and I stay online, and maybe Eric as well, so we can, have a chat. Just anything goes, and we'll try to answer some questions, and we can, hang out a bit. I'm cool with that. I'll be stopping the live stream on YouTube, so we can go off record. Everybody, if you could at least say how it all went, and maybe the fastest way to do it is give me some honest feedback, turn on your camera, and maybe give me a thumbs up or so, or say so. Anything goes. Erik.
I think this went surprisingly well. and I think it was well prepared. But I'm surprised that, I mean, we had to get used to the system a little bit.
Yeah,
But I think it went really well.
it did actually. Yeah.
No, really. And I also think that this, even online, it might even work better than face to face.
Well, that's an interesting thought.
Yes.
Cool.
Because there's a lot of, let's say, the idea generation is very anonymous in the sense that it doesn't really matter who has the idea, and I feel it works really well.
Yeah. All right.
And I also think that this, even online, it might even work better than face-to-face.
Ja, oh, niet pas.
What? The thing is, there's no discussion, and that's of course normally it takes up a lot of time, a lot of energy, and it's not really that productive usually. So you kind of skip the discussion and you just go doing things. Yeah, no, but there's proof here, right? There was zero discussion. Still, we had a very useful session. Yeah. So thanks for the feedback, Ruud.
Was ik de enige die, waarvan het geluid van Erik wat minder goed doorkwam soms?
Nee, had ik ook.
Oké. Het klonk soms, Erik, als die tekening achter je, zeg maar. Maar waarvan ik me ook afvroeg wat het is trouwens. Wat is het voor achtergrond?
It's just that I got in today and it really had blue and red, so I thought it would be in
cool.
theme. Yes, so I would also like to answer a question that I read here, if that's okay. I said, how does the first exercise relate to the second one? How do you connect it? The thing is that the strategy starts high up. You diverge very much, and then you try to go back and to converge, as you do in design sprints a little bit. The thing is that they are connected in a sense that you need to have some idea of what kind of scenarios might be possible to figure out whether you can do concrete red teaming actions. So, for instance, if you would have the wild card that I gave, then the whole red teaming exercise could go a different way. Red teaming is more of a tactical trick under the strategy and futures thing. I hope that makes sense. And it was just to show what a typical strategy thing would do, even without the red teaming element. I hope that answers the questions a bit. And the other question is, what's usually the next step in the sprint? And it's a thing that I didn't address today, but you can imagine that strategy being a little bit less tactical, it doesn't end in very concrete screens or functions. It's very hard to test large hypotheses in the future, right? That makes it very hard. And it makes it also sometimes hard to explain that there is not concrete say design sprints would be a logical consequence after doing strategy sprints to work out the details, to get to concrete things. The aim of the strategy sprint is just to figure out what could be possible, what could we be confronted with, what could we be facing. And it's a different thing than how might we interact with our customer. That comes after it. So in that sense, it's a little less concrete. So maybe there are some more questions.